I mean for the pocket flap rather, I'll have to measure this, mark this point and then measure about 5.5 inches. Yes, that is what I want for my pocket flap. 5.5 inches. You can see that. Sorry, I should be doing this on the wrong side. Mark a straight line, rule a straight line, and then mark 5.5 inches. 5.5, yes. So this will be for my pocket. So right there, I just want to have it, have it this way. Have this point curve. Just like this. So once you have this done, you don't need to worry about the length for now. So but we'll be cutting both pieces with this. Where's the other piece? Okay, I think, okay, now. So now that I have both pieces, as you can see, placing them on top of each other, and then I'll be cutting like a half of an inch away from the tool. So I'm going to be sewing this by half of an inch. You can see that. So I'll be sewing this by half of an inch, and not only that, I'll be cutting two pieces of this as well from lining. Yeah, I'll be cutting two pieces from my lining, so I can just have my lining cut straight and then trim it a bit later. Okay, so I have this for the lining. What I'm going to do now is take this to the machine, place it on top of my lining, and sew all these edges. You can see that. So that is one thing I'll have to go and do now. Let me do that and come back, then we continue. So right now you can see I've sewn the pocket, and I'm going to have to flip it over right now to the other side and then press. I'm going to have to flip it to the right side and then take it to the machine, to the iron, and press. So I've gone ahead and taken it to the iron and press. So once I do that, the next thing I'm going to be doing is, right here I want the length. I want the length to be 3 inches. Yeah, I want it to be 3 inches long. The width of the flap, or the length. I want it to be 3 inches, and it's going to be here. As you can see, I have to place it right on this point. So that is what I'm going to be using. And mind you, one thing before we go, you see this point? This is the point of our dart. This is the point where we are. So you have to start your pocket about half of an inch away from that start position. I hope you see that, half of an inch away. Then you place the pocket flap right here, and then you mark this point also. So that means we are using our pocket flap for the distance. Then you move. So now that I have this rule, I can now go ahead and take my welt pocket. These two, you can see I have marked half of an inch from this two. You can see it from here and also from here too. So I'm going to have to take it to the iron. So here we are at the iron. So I'm going to have to press that half of an inch. I'll have to fold that like this. So have you seen what I did? Fold my half of an inch here, and then also at the other side. So now that I've done this, you see what we have here. So I'm going to take it to the machine and show you how to make the wet pocket. Okay, right now before we head right to the machine and to sew, I would like us to mark this point. Yes, we should mark this point with a chalk so that it will be easier for us when we get to the machine. So we are going to have to mark this point. You see this same line here, we have to mark it right on this thing, and mark it here as well. Then you may want to flip your this thing open, and yeah, you may want to flip this open like this and mark. Here as well you mark, and then you do this also right here. You mark it right here, and right here also you mark it. So once you do this, it will become easier for you. So right now that you have this mark, what you want to do is you match the lines here, and then making sure this point is the same thing. You see, it's on the same line that you have here. So once you do that, you can then go on ahead and fold this. You flip this over, making sure that is staying intact, and then you place your this thing here. You place your machine and sew a 1/4 of an inch from this edge, not the 1/2 of an inch. And as you go, you make sure you have this point matching this line. That is important. Then just like that, you sew a 1/4 of an inch. So when you get here, you stop, and then you place the other one. So now I've sewn that, and then you flip it over. Once you flip it over, what you do is you place the other this thing. You can see that you place the other this thing, and making sure the line is also matching. So you want to sew a 1/4 of an inch from that too, and making sure the line is also, this smaller part is also falling in line with your line. So and then you sew a 1/4 of an inch from that also. So once you get here, you stop as well. And then once you stop, you can see, you check it from the back and be sure that these parts are not, one of these parts is not exceeding the other. It should be at the same position, or else there may be trouble. Yeah, so you try and snip. After doing that, you snip through. Let's take it to the table and do that so it will be clearer. So now we are here. One thing we have to do is you have to snip through all these points. And when you are doing this, you have to be extremely careful. As in extremely careful. Because if you cut beyond where you're supposed to cut to, you may be in trouble. It may spoil the clothes for you. Yeah. So you just want to make sure you're not cutting beyond that line at this point, and then also at this point. Okay. So this place need careful. We need to be very careful with this, so we won't be having a problem. Let's start it. Let's do it from the back part. Yeah, we need to be extra careful with this. It is important. So you snip through this edge as well. And boom. Now we flip it to the other side and press. So right now we want to flip it right to the other side like this one, and this one, and this one's. So you see this. Now that I've flipped it to the other side, you may now take your this one and press it. So right now I've pressed it. I'm going to flip it over to the right side. You see that? And once I flip it over to the side, you can see what it's looking like from here. I just have to press these points open. You see that? Press all these points and have everything smooth. So let's do that. Okay. So now that we have this, you can see that we have our welt pocket done already. So the next thing we do is, where is my flap? Take my flap and then place it right inside. You may want to make your flap about 2.5 inches. That's actually cool, a standard. I'm gonna finish this, but I love it 3 inches. So right here, I have my pocket flap. Don't mind me, it's the fabric that I'm using that keeps changing. So you see that right now we have our pockets done, and the next thing we are going to be doing is go on ahead to fix our pocket bag. So we are going to be fixing a pocket bag. And how do we do that? You take one piece of your pocket bag and you sew it to this point, and then you sew the other one to this point and sew. So let's quickly do that. So now that I've fixed my pocket, you can see that I'm going to have to hold this in place and then turn it to the other side and sew the flap down from here. Okay. Now I've sewn this. I've sewn the flap, the pocket flap, and you can see that. So the next thing I'm going to have to add is the pocket bag. So I've cut 2 pieces of the pocket bags. You can see that. So I'm going to be fixing one of the pieces right here. One is supposed to be like this. See that? So I'm going to be fixing it like that, and then I will be sewing. And once I have this done, you can see that. And the next one, we have to cover it. So this one we have to cover, and I will be sewing right at the top like this. You can see I'll be sewing it here. But before I go on ahead and do that, I want to sew all these corners. You see the corner we have right here? I will have to sew it from inside. You see that little point? So I will sew that from inside first of all. So now that I've sewn this from the inside, you can see that is fixed, and then you flip it to the other side and do the same thing on the other side. So I've done this as well. You see that? So it's after this that I will now take my other part. You can see that. Take this part and then sew it together on top like this. And after sewing this, then I will say my pocket is almost complete. So then you take it and sew from the side your pocket. You sew them all together. The length of that should be about 6-7 inches when you put it. Oh no, sorry, should be about maybe 7 to 8 inches. Yes, that will be on choice actually. So now that we have these parts, we can trim all this excess away and maybe leave these points for now. We may be needing it later. So you trim all the excess right here away. And once you do that, boom, we have our pockets. You see that, and then when you remove yours, this thing. So right now that we've done that, the next thing we have to do is the chest pocket. Yes, we'll be doing the chest pocket now.